today I'm up my allotment and I'm going to take a little tour around just so we can see how everything's doing. Now it's mid-September and things are really coming on nicely, so are the weeds as well I might add, so there's a job there for me to do. I'm just going to take you around and we can see what's happening. It'd be lovely to hear what's happening on your plot or your home garden as well. So I've got my Bramley Apples up here. Now I've got most of them off in August because my variety, if I don't get most of them off in August, they drop off and I end up losing them, but some of them weren't far enough on, so I left a few on that are a little bit bigger. I've got a few here and a few around the other side, and I can take those off now. So before, these were really just a little bit too tiny, but another few more weeks on them and now they're perfectly good, so I'll get those off. And I've got a few more down here. There we go. And I might pick a few more around the back, which I'll pick off later, but it's worth just picking off what you can and then leaving them a couple more weeks, the smaller ones, because they really do fill out, and these were nowhere near. Got a little pea bug in there, let's get that one out. So pop that in there. The rhubarb at the top isn't really doing much, but I've got some more further down which we can look at. Some of the pears on this side are a little bit small, but as we move round the other side they seem a little bit bigger. Now my variety of pear is one that I harvest a little bit later, so I have got some decent sized ones round on this side. So I know that mine genuinely aren't ready. Quite be more like the end of September, beginning of October. Seems like a long time to leave them, but it does all depend on your variety. And pears are often a lot later than apples, but again, check your varieties. But I know mine's normally later, and I normally know when they're about ready because the birds start pecking at them a bit more. It shows that they're almost ready to eat. So I won't be picking any of those off today, but I will be keeping an eye on them. Unfortunately, that apple tree there, they're all a little bit small, but if you wanted to make things with it, preserves or things, you know, and they are actually swelling out a little bit more, so maybe in another week or two I might go around that and pick a few more off. My apple tree at home has done way better, so I've been getting some lovely apples off that. I've been getting a good selection of beans off. I already harvested those a few days ago. This one here is looking a little bit tired. My one at home has got far more on it. So as we move down, I've got my raised beds here where I've got various aubergines, sweet peppers, chilli peppers. So these are Hungarian hot wax, and these are all starting to ripen really nicely, the hot peppers, as you can see. And I've got the aubergines over here, and I know I have got some aubergines, which I think are around the other side. Let's have a look. I was looking at them this morning. There we go, so I've had some really nice sized aubergines off already. I've got that lovely one there which I can harvest, and I've got another one coming along really nicely which I could let get a little bit bigger, or I could take it off now. So I've got quite a lot, and again over there as well. And I've got my sweet peppers here, the Romanos, which are amazing. No sign of ripening yet, so at the moment I've just been eating them green, which is still really lovely, but hopefully they'll start to change colour really soon. And my rhubarb over here is doing really well. It's exactly the same variety as the one at the top, but we just moved it, so sometimes the benefits of moving a bit of rhubarb kind of gives it a new lease of life. So if your rhubarb's looking a little bit tired where you've got it, it's worth splitting it and putting a bit more somewhere else as well and seeing what happens. So, as is always the case with courgettes, I'm getting a bountiful amount of courgettes. So as we try and find the main tip on here. So we've got some more coming on that. I've got some more plants further round, which I know have got some more courgettes on, which we'll take a look at in a minute. I've got some squashes up here, which are doing really well. So I've got some lovely potato squashes. Some, I think they're Crown Prince. I think that's like a ghost pumpkin. I've got some butternuts over here that grow in the fruit cage area. A lot of these aren't ready to harvest yet. I normally wait until mid-October, but I know that the potato squashes were formed quite early, so if I want one, I'll pick one that I think is a little bit more ripe than the others. What you're looking for when you're storing them is you're looking for the stalks to start to die off. and they're not. They're still really, really green, which means they're probably not cured enough by the sun naturally to go harvesting them all. But if you want the odd one and you think it's ripe enough, then you can take the odd one to eat now, which is probably what I'll do. I'll take a couple, but I'll leave all the rest of them on to continue ripening. So let's move around and see what else is on the plot. So we've had such a lot of rain the last few days, but today is absolutely glorious, which is a very nice treat to be up the allotment with the weather good. So my leeks are doing really, really well. So I've not had the best leeks the last few years, but these ones look a lot better. So, you know, people wonder when you can harvest leeks. Well, basically when they're big enough. So as they're quite a decent size now already, I'm going to start harvesting a few a week. So I won't harvest them all, I'll harvest them until I need them. So I'll harvest the bigger ones first to let the bigger ones catch up. Oh, and we've got some more peppers over here as well. So look, lovely, lovely peppers there, look. So these are my flamingo peppers, which again, no sight of change of colour just yet, but hopefully we're still getting quite a lot of sun in September. That might be a slight change of colour there. These will start to change colour, but again, I can eat them as they are. They just sweeten more if you leave them on longer. So as we move over, I've got a random piece of chard there, which just seems to be growing so well. Nothing else was growing there, it seemed a shame to get rid of it. Now this is my Calabrese broccoli, and this is doing really, really well. I've had the main heads off of it, but I always leave it in because you get lots and lots of side shoots off of it. So as you can see, even though I've had the main head off, look how many shoots I've got. All these little bits of broccoli I can take off and eat. So it's well worth, if you plant the Calabrese broccoli, the one with the big main head on it, that after you've taken it out, you just leave them and you get more and more broccoli. And I find I get more by getting the extra shoots than I do just off the main heads, because it just continually keeps sprouting for quite some time. It does eventually get tough, but it does take a really long time before that happens. So I will come back and I will pick some of that before I go and have that for my Sunday dinner, no doubt. So as we move down, I've got some lovely pumpkins here that are starting to orange up beautifully. As you can see, the plants are starting to die off. Now that's perfectly normal. I've heard a lot of people really worried about their pumpkins and their squashes, that the leaves are dying off, but that's what you want them to do, because the pumpkins have finished growing. They just need to stay on the ground and carry on ripening. I see some people put them on slates and bits of cardboard. I think you probably can do that, but if I'm really honest, I've got so many, I haven't got enough things to put them on. I never really do that. The only time they normally go bad is if there's something wrong with them. So unless you live somewhere where you think the ground is very susceptibly wet or something, and they could get damaged, I just let mine ripen where they've grown, and I don't put them on anything, but obviously the choice is yours. So I've got my Cape gooseberries here, which are coming on really nicely. So they're not ready yet, so they're just still green. Got to wait for these little lanterns there to turn brown, and you'll open them up and you'll have the lovely orangey fruits inside them. Absolutely gorgeous. And I've got my Jerusalem artichokes. So where we've had a little bit of wind, some of these have broken off, so I'm going to have to go around and take these broken bits off and put them on the composter. It won't cause the plant any harm at all, because the Jerusalem artichokes grow under the ground, and this, when you get to a certain point in the year, I think it's about October, you can cut them back about a foot or two off the ground anyway. And because this isn't necessary, as you can see, look, we've got the little flowers starting to fall. So absolutely lovely, really good for the beneficial insects. So as we move down, we have more squashes here. So I've got some lovely butternut over here. I've got another butternut over here. So they're doing really, really well. And I've got some lovely courgettes which I'm going to take off. So I suppose I'll eat all of these courgettes myself. I'll share them with friends and family, but they'll be a very welcome addition to my cooking. As we move over, I've got some chard here, which you get the odd ones that just kind of like go to seed. You can either cut them down or pull them out, But again, a really good thing to have in your garden. So incredibly versatile. You can use it for so many things: salads, stir fry, stews, curries. An incredibly easy thing to grow. I absolutely love it. I probably bang on about it every time I do a video. It's one of my favourite things. I've got my carrots there underneath the Enviromesh. Now, if you've never used Enviromesh before, it's really worth it, especially when you're growing carrots, because it really does help stop the carrot fly, and I've got much better carrots as a result of using Enviromesh. As we move down, we have some potatoes. So I've already dug 2 rows of potatoes. Now, once you start getting into September, it's really important to start getting them out the ground by the end of September, beginning of October, because if you don't, apart from the fact that frost can affect them, the biggest problem is more the pests, the wireworm and the slugs will start to attack your potatoes, so you need to get them dug up to store them so that you get them all throughout the year. And I do hope you've enjoyed my tour of the allotment. If you'd like to know what you can sow this month, please check my link out on the screen and in the description.